Hello everyone, Known a Consequence here with episode 20 of my remastered original Days of Dragons adventure module playthrough series, the campaign from which is now in its 12th year. So where we left off last time, the characters had gone to the city of Verba Bonk to get Thorol resurrected by the Temple of St. Cuthbert. With him now back on his feet, the characters were ready to return to Hamlet. And so here is the current player character roster. We have 6 characters being run by 4 different players. It was also during their time at Verba Bonk that I informed the players that their characters had now all advanced to 5th level. And here is the roster of both human and animal NPCs associated with the party. However, all of the riding animals are still missing, captured outside the temple when the characters were also briefly taken. Characters decided to enter dungeon level 3 via a stairway previously located near the Fire Temple complex. The characters soon found a circular room that had obviously been used for magic research. There were magic circles engraved on the floor and a lot of lab-type equipment on tables around the room's perimeter. Thorol insisted on browsing through it all, looking for anything that might be of use to him. He did find some precious metals in powder or lump form, and packed it all up to take along. A short distance further west, another door was discovered. Garrett was sent in to check it out, but the door was unlocked, and it did not appear to be trapped. The door led to a wide but narrow room, which appeared to be the antechamber of a larger room. As soon as the characters entered the larger room, they were attacked by a roper hiding amongst the furniture. Varys, Obrak, and Niobe were all quickly ensnared by the roper's tentacles and immediately dragged in towards the monster's toothy maw. Soon, every character except Thorol was ensnared and trying to break free from the tentacle trapping them. Both Niobe and Varys were bitten by the roper as it tried to stuff one of them into its mouth. However, not every character had both arms pinned, and some were able to fight back against the monster. Aramis rolled a fumble during the battle, but other characters scored hits. And through everyone's combined efforts, the roper was soon dead. After defeating the roper, Thorol began inspecting some books and scrolls located in an alcove just to the east. Unfortunately, he accidentally opened a cursed scroll and summoned a demon, which immediately attacked him. Thorol beat a hasty retreat, while the fighter types moved in to engage the demon. Niobe stood just behind them, ready to cast a healing spell if necessary. Obrak received a critical hit from the demon, but then lucked out on the damage roll. What could have been as much as 24 points of damage ended up being only 6. Fortunately, the fiend was soon destroyed and sent back to the abyss. However, between the roper and the demon, the characters decided that they'd already had enough for one day. So they agreed to return to Hamlet and recover from the day's actions. Elmo, now regarded as a trusted companion, listened with interest while the characters recounted the day's adventures at the temple. Also, I hadn't really mentioned it before, but when Niobe joined the party, she brought with her a corgi named Sir Kevin III. This implies that there have been 2 previous Sir Kevins, but Niobe never talks about them, and nobody ever asks either. The only reason I don't typically mention Sir Kevin is because he does not go to the temple with the characters. He stays behind at the inn and is looked after by Ostler whenever Niobe is away. Next morning, the characters returned to the temple and proceeded west from the previous day's explorations. The characters soon found another door. However, this one was heavily barred from the outside, and the gap around the door's frame was filled with hammered-in silver. Clearly, this door was meant to keep something locked in rather than keep intruders out. Breaking through the door, the characters found a sanctuary with shrines devoted to both St. Cuthbert and Foltus, the god of light. Niobe verified that these were authentic shrines and not fake mockeries made by the temple's denizens. Obrak, being a dwarf with a keen eye for stonework, soon noticed that the Cuthbert shrine could actually be rolled aside, and behind it, the characters quickly found a concealed door. Behind the concealed door, the characters found a hidden room and what appeared to be a vampire in a stone sarcophagus. Looking closer, the characters realized that the vampire had been staked through the heart. The sarcophagus's stone lid lay nearby, and upon it was a note asking whomever found this room to place the lid on the sarcophagus and seal the vampire inside forever. The characters were unsure of the entire situation here. It all seemed very odd. Finally, Niobe decided to cast a detect evil spell, but she could sense nothing evil about the apparent vampire or anything else in this room for that matter. Finally, Aramis decided to simply pull the stake out of the vampire's chest. Upon removing the stake, the vampire illusion was immediately dispelled, and the figure inside the sarcophagus was revealed to be a handsome male-clad human. He had long golden hair and was wearing a surcoat, bearing the heraldry of the nations of Furiandi and Valuna. The man began to stir and was soon awake from his magically induced sleep. He looked around in confusion for a moment and then introduced himself as Prince Thrommel, Grand Marshal of Furiandi, Provost of Valuna, Paladin Lord. The characters asked how he came to be here, and he replied that his last memory was of being attacked on the road by a band of red-robed men. Prince Thrommel then asked how long he had been here, and upon being told the current date, he realized that he had been here, and thus missing, for about 3.5 years. Prince Thrommel immediately asked the characters to show him the way out of here and to take him to the nearest settlement, saying that it was urgent he return to his homeland right away. Because the characters were still missing their horses, it was a long walk back to Hamlet. So the characters used the opportunity to explain to Prince Thrommel that they were currently in the Viscounty of Verbabank, and that they themselves had been busy investigating and clearing out the Temple of Elemental Evil. They had plenty of time to explain much of the details regarding what they had seen and learned up to this point. When the characters were finished, Thrommel said that this explained much about what had happened to him, but he did not elaborate. Upon arriving at Hamlet, Prince Thrommel asked the characters for help in obtaining a horse. So the characters purchased one for him, along with adequate provisions for his long journey home. In return, Prince Thrommel gave to Aramis a gold medallion engraved with the coat of arms of Furiandi, and to Niobe, whom he recognized as a cleric of St. Cuthbert, he presented a gold ring with the same emblem engraved upon it. But he promised the entire group that he would not forget their kindness and their help, and that once he reached Furiandi, he would make arrangements to have them all suitably rewarded. And with that, Prince Thrommel wheeled his horse around, exited the inn courtyard, and thundered off up the road leading north at a full gallop. Returning to the temple the next day, the characters first discovered a trash-filled room. Clearly, it was being used as the dumping ground for the nastiness going on elsewhere in the temple. Next, the characters found what appeared to be an abandoned trophy room left over from the temple's glory days. There were moth-eaten stuffed heads and pelts of various monsters mounted on the walls, and the floor was littered with smashed wooden furniture. Suddenly, a giant manta-like creature dropped from the ceiling. Obrak and Varys managed to jump out of the way in time, but Niobe was trapped underneath the creature. The other characters began attacking the beast, hoping to free Niobe before something terrible happened. But low damage rolls and even a fumble hindered their efforts. Finally, the creature was defeated, and Niobe was saved just in the nick of time before she suffocated from being trapped beneath it. Exploring in a new direction, the characters found a flight of stairs going down a short distance and ending at an iron door. However, the door had no keyhole or even a handle on this side, so they decided to leave it for now. Alright, well that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you can, please leave a comment and let me know what you think. If you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. If you know of a good place, please share the video, and anything to help support the channel, I appreciate it. Thanks again. Bye for now.